All right, here at No Reserve, we have our one owner 93 Ford Bronco. This thing's in beautiful condition. It's always been in Washington State, has really good Carfax and maintenance history on this truck. Zero rust. It's mostly its original paint. It's called Cabernet Red. So it's like a really nice deep blood red. It's non-metallic color. But it's got tan interior. It's a hard to find 5.0 liter with AC. It absolutely blows cold. Everything works on this truck. It's got a 5-speed manual transmission. It's a custom option. So that was before the XL and 94. They started calling them the XL. But it's got all the chrome bumpers and all that stuff, which is nice to see. The chrome small mirrors. I love these little mirrors compared to the folding ones. I just love the way those ones look. So we'll go ahead and so for whatever reason, the only repaints we could find on both sides is pretty much the truck is entirely original paint, except for the middle area of the driver's door and the driver's fender, and that's pretty much between the body lines. It goes from here down to here where the moldings are, and then the same thing on the passenger side, and that's the only area that we can find that it's been repainted. And the only way we can kind of tell is you will find little imperfections on the passenger side here, where you'll see like little things in the paint. It was done a long time ago. The color matches really well, but you will see some sanding marks if you look real close on underneath the paint. It's really hard to see, but you can kind of just see evidence of paint work done. And up here, none of that stuff is there, and it's completely original paint. You have a little bit of cracking in the paint there, so there might be, it's nice and solid, but this is where I was talking about. You can see that. I got a close-up pictures of it too. You can see the tape line on this side, and it kind of fades out right here and it stops. So I'm not sure. So pretty much here's original paint all the way into here, and so it blends. You can kind of see a little bit area where it was blended back in the day. You can see kind of a little tape line there, but overall it's just a killer looking Bronco. The passenger side, you don't see that tape line in the same area, but you see kind of like some little, just evidence of paint there. But it's got really nice gloss to it, really deep reflection. You can see, me throughout the photos, reflections of the bushes. I'm, quite a few feet away. You can see me real good. Got a picture of the manual and everything like that. One thing that's really cool about this truck is it was bought at Evergreen Ford, brand new, which is just a little bit east of Seattle, and it's amazing. It comes with stuff like this after nearly 30 years. It's still got its original dealer Evergreen Ford trailer hitch receiver plug. I don't think the trailer hitch has ever really been used. It actually still has its original dealer plate frame, and it's in the driving video, or at the end of this video, we'll kind of go over the Carfax, and then it'll also be displayed on the ad. But what's really cool, it's got aftermarket CD player, it's got the remote. We ordered up the Marty report for it. Kind of shows the options, air conditioning. It's got the handling package. That's called the current red fiberglass roof instead of like tan or black. It's the medium mocha interior, the cabinet red. Shows when it was built and all that stuff. Says 78 with these paint and trim codes, which is pretty cool. And it's got the trailer towing package, all that stuff. It has been somebody has changed get this guy back here. So it's got the automatic locking hubs, and someone's converted it to manual hubs, which is cool to see, and all those work nice and smooth. So we've got the original brochure. This even looks like it's the same color. Looks really close to the same Bronco. It's got a couple different moldings. That's an XLT, but it's really cool to see this stuff. This thing's in super nice condition. All the different options for 1993. Of course, you got your Haynes manual that came with it, or the Chilton's manual. This is the dealer plate frame I was talking about. It's got its little book jacket, and it's got all the, see here, kind of two-hand this operation. It's got all its original books. You can see me taking a picture of this in the paint to show the depth and reflection of it. But also is really cool, from pretty much since new, this came with this little log book, and you got gas and oil. The guy just kept meticulous condition of it. Shows basically you know, the gas and oil since 1997 at 58,000 miles, and it just goes through and through. And I think he runs out of room and he picks it up at the back, but it's pretty cool to go through this and kind of just study the history on it. It talks about how much he spent, all that stuff. I mean, we're at gas and oil, you know, 115,000 miles. Let's see, it's got 177 on it now, so it's got 120. We can just keep going. 150,000 miles, and then the rest of it picks up to almost the current area, but it's a little bit back here. Let's see here. It's kind of cool to go through this. 161 in 2013, 166. I'm guessing in, it looks like 2014. So nice trackage. I mean, you know, this stuff is, it's just kind of cool little bonuses to see this stuff, you know, like this stuff come along with it. The trip diary, he talks about doing a road trip for a few years on this thing and puts 30,000 miles on it. Talks about doing a clutch disc, stuff like that, what oil he used when he did the services. But also the services comes through in the Carfax too, and we'll show that. But it's just cool to see, you know, a plate frame, that stuff, the books, the manuals, the brochure, the tow package insert. Sun's peeking out here a little bit, so you can kind of see how beautiful this color is in the sun. So we'll kind of start going through the imperfections on the outside, and hopefully you guys can see everything. If you guys need anything different, always just let me know. But you can see all the lights are nice and clear, really nice color, no condensation, just a minimal fading here. Bumper's not tweaked, all the chrome has got nice deep reflection. You know, you gotta expect your typical little stone chips along the valance here. But what's cool is this truck was obviously, you know, in my opinion, garaged, because the inserts in the grill are in really nice shape. They're not totally faded out. You know, got a couple little stone chips here. You know, your bug guard doesn't have any cracks or chips, but it does have, you know, it takes the brunt of it. That's its job, and it does a good job of it. But it does, you know, a little bit fade and stuff like that. But they're like 50 bucks new. So, but you see nice gap on the front bumper. This isn't missing. You can tell hasn't been abused. But it does, you know, you can see nice gaps on the hood. Hood's never been hyperextended. Hood's never been off. All the doors have really nice gaps. Doors shut really nice. There's no hinge issues. Just that nice deep like sound. You know, this is the only area that's had some paint lifting, but it's pretty much dead. It's not flaking anymore. It's pretty much smooth. It's been waxed over many times over. It's real common to flake here because the wind comes down, but don't have any of that issues. But you'd expect your typical chips on the hood. You know, these things, you know, people call them bullet body style or bull nose. They're not real aerodynamic, and after, you know, almost 30 years, you will get, you know, these are the larger chips. You gotta expect these little stone chips. But, you know, this is stuff you really don't see until you get real close, but I want to show everything. This is the biggest chip on the whole truck. The windshield has been replaced at one point. It has one little chip right here. Take you around to the, we'll start off with you can see the lights nice and clear on the driver's side too. A little bit of condensation built in here. But there is you know, if you look real close, there is, you know, I'm not sure if the paint's maybe getting thin right here from waxing and buffing. There's two areas where it looks like maybe some tree sap or a chemical kind of came and dripped on it, and you'll see, it's really hard to see this stuff, but I want to show you all the stuff, and it looks like it's just there, and then right here, it just kind of put a little bit of a little mark in the paint. It's smooth and it's still shiny, but I don't think you're gonna get that out. You might be able to start out at like 1,000 grit and work yourself up to 2,500 and get it out if you're real crazy and need to do it. It's got nice looking pinstriping, but you can see, you know, some paint issues around there. This is what I was talking about. You know, obviously there was some previous work here done. It doesn't have any accidents on it. A little chip. You know, some wear in the paint. It had the fiberglass style running board steps, so they know, Lund style or something, and it kind of worn the paint. And this is just a cap. There is a little screw in there, but you can see it's just beautiful, no rust. But I thought about, you could get, you know, a little chrome cap that would kind of look pretty good, or you could paint it the same color. Your typical little stone chips on the door, or not stone chips, but door edge chips. I don't believe the top's ever been off. Definitely don't get any leaks. You know, your typical key entry wear around the door handle, stuff like that. Again, a little bit of wear in the paint there. You know, you got your little stone chips. You know, the kind of stones that come up and just kind of hit this flat area that comes out, which is real common. But again, really nice shine to it. You know, no rust at all. Little scratch here, you know, little scratches. Taillights are nice shape, no cracks or chips. A little fading towards both top corners of both taillights. You know, no dents here, real common for somebody to back into something that skips over and hits here. You can see inside the, it's really nice, no tape lines, never been painted or anything on the quarter panel. Original 15-inch wheels, still got the factory size tires. They got 2014 date on them. You know, tons of tread left, really clean. You know, we got, you know, we do a video and pictures of it up on the rack and stuff, and you know, obviously gonna do a driving video and a cold start. So go ahead and take you around the back here. Spare tire carrier, hasn't unlatched and done any damage. Really nice shape. You know, you have some chips here. You know, again, you have a little dent right there and some stone chips on the bottom. Some little scratches, but beautiful, shiny, smooth paint. You know, got some, both rain gutters. It had a, you know, a rack on it, so you know, probably clamp down right there. The rain gutters got some little scuffing. We did do new door sweeps. The rubber's on both front windows and the rear window, so it is. It's going to take a little while for those to work in. So it is a little bit tougher rolling up the windows, nothing bad or anything, and then the rear window goes a little bit slower for now until those do break in. But it just kind of, those little pieces, I always like having new rubbers on there because it kind of just goes, you know, makes the truck look a lot better than the old cracked ones. And they're cheap. So you got that wear there. You know, the moldings, the chrome in here is a little bit faded. You know, the rubber molding on the side, the black is a little bit faded. See, no overspray or cheap spray paint up in there. You can just see it's really nice. I mean, you see the areas like that and you know this is just a solid, really dry truck. A little ding with a chip here, and then there's a little ding here, so hopefully you guys can see it. No paint damage. You know, some stone chips on both the pillars, the A pillars. Probably, you know, your mirrors are faded a little bit, you know. Just a killer, outstanding Bronco, but you don't want to show the normal stuff. This is stuff that, you know, most people expect, but want to make sure there's no hidden issues. A little bit of stone chipping down here. So go ahead and take you to the back. The rear tire carrier opens up nice and smooth. Another thing, if you're not real familiar with these Broncos, is a lot of times these are just missing. And this kind of just shows the care. It's kind of like, you know, I was talking about the manuals and the brochure and this thing kind of show the care of it. But also the silver, how nice it is on here. These just flake really easy. Got some scuffs on the bumper, you know, the bumper pad, you know, probably from loading or something like that. It's got some little scuffs on the top, but no impact damage or anything like that. You got some scratches on here. A lot of times this is caused by maybe somebody leaving something on the bumper, and then they lower the tailgate down and it scratches it. But you can see how nice and clean that paint is underneath there. This piece isn't missing. It's just a really untampered truck. Besides some performance stuff that the guy did underneath the hood, some maintenance stuff, and a CD player. This is just really nice, clean, original example. A little ding. You can see that little rubber. You know, and it did. The previous window sweep, you know, one of the reasons why we replaced it, did start putting some surface scratches in there. And amazingly, nowadays, there are some products that you can get in there and kind of wet sand and actually buff out glass and get rid of those scratches. But, you know, loading scratches and chips to be expected, but absolutely no rust. If these tailgates rust out, it's always down here. And this is just beautiful, deep red paint. Now, we did take the spare tire carrier off, just because these bolts do kind of, you know, if you don't grease them up once in a while, do kind of weld in there. So we just took them off, gave the spare tire carrier just a little bit of satin black just to make it look a little better, and greased up those bolts a little bit so they don't weld in there and get stuck. But the rear window motor works good from outside and inside switch. A little ding right there, little ding right there. Hopefully you guys can see everything good with the sun peeking out. Definitely not complaining about the sun being out with everything going on. That's as fast as the window will pretty much go. Goes all the way down. There's pictures of the rear seat folded up, but you can see it's just got some scuffs and scratches. Of course, the new felts, nice and smooth. you know, no rust. You're gonna get some rust. It's even surface rust. This is where it's gonna begin. It's right down here. But you can see even in the tailgate jams, the rubber plugs there, all the anodized hardware still nice and shiny. You know, the rear side cargo sides are a little bit scuffed, but I mean, they look great. They don't look to have any sun fading. A couple of these guys are missing throughout. They're kind of, will just kind of pop off over time. But again, I don't see any evidence the top has been off, but I can't guarantee it, but it definitely doesn't leak. I mean, the seals look like they've never been popped up or anything. You know, no seals are cut. Little mark there. You know, this has shrunk up over time a little bit. Kind of typical, but what's really cool is you could get a whole new, it doesn't need it. I mean, the mats are in great condition. You could get just the back for about 100 bucks. Or if you wanted to go carpet, it's 300 bucks, but the original mat's in excellent condition besides the little marks and scuffs. You can see all the plastics are there, which is nice. You know, you have some scuffs and stuff around the fiberglass. You know, because these are fiberglass, so they do come white. Tailgate shuts nice and easy. The assist is still working, which is this piece down here, which makes the tailgate not seem as heavy as it is, and it's really easy to lower down. But if you know, these worn out Broncos, this will go bad, and then you'll feel every bit of weight of that tailgate. But it's nice and easy to close. But if people abuse them and open it up and just drop them, it will hyperextend that and break it. So, all right, we're gonna go on the inside. I love the tan interiors on these trucks. I love the glad to not see red. You see a lot of gray. So the tan interior is one of my favorites. You know, it's a little bit scuffed up right here. You know, you can't feel any scuffing, but it just wore the tan a little bit. People will tend to put stuff up there and it'll slide around. Only crack on the dash is on this vinyl piece. It's got the Alpine CD player, a little bit of wear right down there. Probably happened on an install. It's got the nice custom black trim. You know, a little bit of scuffs on the glove box. No issues. With the ashtray opening up, ashtray is really nice and clean. The lighter does work if you want to plug your cell phone in, and then you also have that works. The boot around the manual shifter's in nice shape, but you know, you have a little bit of scuffing in the plastics here. But the rubber mat, you can see in the photos, is just phenomenal condition. No issues on the passenger side of the seat. You got your remote, you know, some little cracks on the plastics, the seat belt's kind of common on both sides. You can see the nice paint. Cargo light comes on. So how you release the seat is you push up here and it comes up forward, and you can see the back seat's in really nice condition. I mean, really doesn't look like they've ever really been sat in. There's no marks on it or anything. Armrest pops up for storage, no issues. Your ashtray pops out. Cup holder, real cool to see. You know, you have a couple of those missing guys, but you can get these, so that's not a problem. Not missing anything, not missing any screws. You know, just a little scuffs on some of the plastics is basically the biggest complaint, like on this door panel. But what is nice to see is the door panel's never been off. It's not hanging, it's not loose, but it's just got beautiful paint throughout. I mean, it's just shiny even throughout the door jambs, the fins. You got some scuffs here, but no door pin, no door hinge issue. I mean, very little entry wear, no rust. But now we'll go over to the driver's side. This truck's got great sound to it. Imagine the guy was original owner is probably a car guy, because he's the way he maintained this thing. But steering wheel's in great condition. Horn works great. A little aging rather than review mirror, but again, you know, no big deal there. You see the top of the dash is in nice condition. Around the steering column's in nice shape. This is missing a fin right here, but I just ordered one off eBay, so it'll be here, and I'll either pop it in for you if you want to do it yourself, but I'm gonna assume you want me to do it, so I'll pop it in there. So no big deal. And that's what's cool, is you can get parts for these things really cheap. Like if you know, like I was talking about the carpet, you know, so the only wear on the issues on the seat is just on the driver's side. There's a couple little holes here. No odors or smells in here or anything. Ashtray looks like it's never really been used. but it does have those marks. I mean, the pedals are in excellent condition. Original VIN decal. A couple little stress marks, you know, kind of a common Bronco issue, but only on this side. You know, door hinge is in nice shape. Oddly enough, less marks on the driver's door and door panel. I mean, the door panel is in flawless condition than on the passenger side, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. Original dealer stamp or assembly stamping. Super cool. So this kind of happens kind of common. This piece, if you want to entry, did break the mechanism in there, so you could either find one on eBay and pop this out and replace it, or you buy manual version is you just kind of come down here and there's a little tab you push up on, and then the seat comes forward. So I'll show it to you. It's right there. So you just find the hinge and you push up on it. That's something I didn't notice until just the other day, because it was kind of sitting like that. So if you want the seat to go all the way back, you push up on it. But oh, and there's a little bit of wear here. So a little bit of separation right there. But alrighty, so I'll take underneath the hood, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this down the road. But it does have aftermarket exhaust. It's got headers on it, and it sounds awesome. The AC system is blowing ice cold. I mean, nothing is messed with under here. None of these bolts have been. Let's see here. You know, I don't see any tape lines along the inside of the hood. A lot of times people go to work on this, they put their knee on here and snap the tab off. Looks like the radiator has been replaced at one point, not recently, but a while back. Now I'll go over here, I'll pull out the Carfax and kind of go over what was previously done and then what we have done. Still got the jack, you know, in the solenoid. It's got a good Napa battery in there with 1,000 cold cranking amps. So that thing's definitely gonna rip over this 5.0 liter, no issues. But under the hood is just super clean. You can see the decal. You know, if anybody's ever gone through mud or something or abused this truck, you'd get that mud film that is impossible to get off, like the firewall, the underside, and the underside of the hood. Same with this thing, ever blew a radiator hose, it would just coat it, which this truck has definitely has not had that issue. So, all right. I'll go ahead and pull up my phone here, and we'll kind of just go through the Carfax, and then I'll fire it up and we'll hit the road. Let's see here. So we'll go back. You know, it's always been a Washington State, 0 accidents, and this will be on there, no damage or anything. But obviously we mentioned it had those paint issues, that something was done. So we'll go down to the bottom. Most recent work by the previous owner was at 159,000 miles, 2013. It says it has some exhaust repair. That's probably when the exhaust was done. You know, regular service, brakes checked, fuel system checked, front brakes replaced, calipers, spark plugs replaced, fuel pressure checked, distributor cap replaced, fuel pressure regulator replaced, and some other odds and ends. In 2012 at 157, full tune-up for looks like front brake pads. Maybe he had the calipers go out. Cooling system checked. Front brake hoses replaced. A lot of services, just like full service oil changes. 2011, 154K, had valve cover gaskets done, you know, engine checked, transmission fluid flushed, new clutch, throttle position sensor done, power steering flushed, spark plugs differential serviced, and both differentials have been serviced. Idle control valve, you know, an oil change. 152, had the water pump replaced, you know, typical fluids checked. 2009, looks like 147,000 miles. It had, it says the exhaust manifold replaced, so I'm assuming that's when the headers were put on. But you can see there's not a whole lot of miles on there. Coolant temperature sensor, and that might be also when the radiator was done too. But it said it had a whole cold start issue, so that probably was that coolant temp sensor, which is kind of common. 145, again, the guy was on it with tune-ups and oil changes. Had fuel line hoses replaced, lower control arm bushings replaced. You know, 135 in 2006. This guy really didn't put very many miles on it, so you know, a lot of these parts will have 10 years on them or so, but not very many miles. Like a drag link replaced, steering gear replaced. It has a redhead steering box, which is awesome to see. You know, alignment, throttle position sensor, you know, spark plugs. You know, 131 heater hoses, fuel filter, clutch master cylinder, You know, ignition system checked, and then just a bunch of oil changes. And then we had it aligned, had the tires balanced. Let's see here, 2014 is when he had 2013 is when he had a lot of the services done, and then probably had the tires done in 2014. But you know, we did the spark plugs, did some motor crafts, did a tune up on it, coolant flush, did a fuel pump, did fuel filter, of course, air filter, of course. Trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. And the AC does blow cold, but you can see the headers don't have very many miles on them. You know, they don't have that total burnt look. And just overall kind of had a checkup done on it. And we'll go ahead and fire it up here, and then go ahead and put the e-brake on. I'll go ahead and roll the rear window up from the interior switch so you can see how that works. And it's still cold, so we're gonna let it warm up, and you can hear it just running nice and smooth. No belt issues. You can see the AC compressor. It's not brand new, but it's not that old. You can see the lines. Still nice and shiny, but the AC clutch is still got kind of a little shiny look to it. Got a really nice sound to it. You know, but we just pulled it out for the picture, so you know she's idled down. So you know the idle control valve's working good. That was replaced. You know, you can see the e-brake lights on. We got 177 at 914 miles. You can see all the gauges working. At the same time as fuel pump, fuel sending unit was of course replaced, as the float, all that stuff. And so we'll go ahead and get ready to take it for a rip. All right, here we are with our 93 Ford Bronco. It's a 2-owner. I think in the walk around video I said it was a 1-owner, but it was a 1-owner all the way till 2016. And then so it's a 2-owner Bronco. Beautiful original condition. You'll see in the Carfax the original owner was meticulous, and he's got the logbook that we talk about in the other videos. But you'll see a bunch of those parts replaced down here, and I kind of just wanted to give just a little bit of a walk around down here. You can see how clean and dry. I mean, and no spray paint or undercoating's ever been done on here. You know, you get a little bit of surface rust on some of the frame and stuff like that, but it's just because it's never been undercoated, but it's all solid metal. You know, the clutch was, you know, a lot of these parts have a few years on them, but not that many miles, as you can see in the Carfax. It's great to see they replaced the rubber radius arm bushings with polyurethane, but a lot of times these will wear out, and then they bore out the bracket. So it's nice to see that they didn't just throw new bushings in. They actually replaced both brackets with Ford pieces. You can still see the, you know, decal still after almost 30 years. You know, there's a paint blotch from the assembly line. You know, they had all the brakes done not that long ago, brake lines included, shocks. They had the rear drive line rebuilt and balanced by Drive Lines Northwest. You can just see how clean this thing is. You know, we had the fuel filter, fuel pump, sending unit done, you know, alignment, tune up, a bunch of stuff, motorcraft plugs. But we'll take you over here. So it's got good years. I mean, like new tread on them. They got a manufacture date of 2014. So just took one side off because both sides are the same. Just want to make this a real long, drawn out video for you guys. But you can see there's lots of life left on the shoes. You can see inside the drum, it's by just the slight surface rust that it doesn't have that many miles on it. No grooves, of course. Up front, we got at some point they took out the automatic hubs, and they got the super winch manuals, which turn nice. But you can see they did all the clips and everything. Everything was done nice and right. You can see the sway bar bushings were done at one point. You can just see how clean this thing is. I mean, it's not sparkly clean, of course. It's got a red head steering box. You can see the how clean the front diff is. You can see how clean it is down here. Front diff was just serviced. You know, this isn't steam cleaned and armor all sprayed all over the place. There's just a little bit of seeping you'll get right here. It's just a little wet, doesn't really put anything on the floor, but you'll just kind of see it kind of come right down here. O2 sensor we had replaced, but just a super clean and killer truck. You know, it's great to see pretty much most of its life a one owner. You can see there's no pinion seal leaks or anything. The owner not too long ago had the rear differential serviced, but you can see it's got the just, you know, no rust up here or anything. So all right, we've got a bunch of photos down here for you guys. Hopefully you guys can see all those. If you guys need anything else specifically, just let me know. But you'll see, I mean, it's just crazy clean. All right, and this is going at no reserve, guys. So good luck. We have a cold start video, a driving video, and a full walk around video. Hopefully you guys can check that out. And I think there's probably over 300 photos. So all right, everybody, good luck.